Hi guys, welcome. Thanks for joining us. My name is Miriam Curiel and today I am joined by...
My name's Andrew, one of the instructors here at Contractors Intelligence School.
Yes, and we're going to be doing a step-by-step guide on how to get your contractor's license in the state of California. We're going to start off by doing an overview of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the requirements, the application, preparing for the exam, passing the exam, scheduling the exam, and the final steps as well. To start off, I'm going to be talking about the requirements. California law states that if you're going to be doing work that's $500 or more, you do need to have a contractor's license if it includes labor and materials. Now, to apply, you must be at least 18 years old, but we do recommend that you be at least 23 years old, since technically you have to be 18 years old to gain full-time employment. And it does require 4 years of full-time employment at the journeyman level. Journeyman level is just a fancy way of saying that you finish an apprenticeship program with some field experience, or you gained your knowledge by working through a company and have 4 years of experience completely unsupervised. You also need to have a social security number or an ITIN, an individual taxpayer identification number, which is a common misconception. A lot of people think that you do need to have just a social security number to apply. So for those of you joining us that don't have a social security number, you can also apply with an ITIN. There are some uncommon ways of applying, such as the owner-builder. Owner-builder means that you gain the experience from working on your own home. Maybe you constructed it, remodeled it, or even built an ADU. Key factors are that the deed needs to be in your name. You need to have the knowledge and the skill to have done this type of construction. And you need to have permits in your name. So if the permits are in a contractor's name that you hired, unfortunately that wouldn't work. It has to be your personal experience with permits in your name. There is another option that, again, is somewhat uncommon: self-employment. A lot of people think that you can't use your self-employment experience to apply for your contractor's license. Another misconception: you can absolutely use it. The state prefers that you legitimize your business, then continue to work unlicensed. For this type of application, you do need to show 4 years worth of documentation. Tax documentations, permits inspections, contracts, work orders, invoices, material receipts, and even canceled checks. So there's an ample amount of documentation that you're capable of showing towards this type of experience. Now, you've decided to move forward with the licensing process. The key thing to remember is that you're going to need to apply. You need to apply to be able to get to the point of taking the exams. With this application, a lot of people get really intimidated because you're going to be mailed about a 20-page packet, and a lot of people look at it and say, hey, I'm not capable of doing it. This is too complex. But the key thing to remember that here at Contractors Intelligence School, we have a dedicated department that specializes on the application. It's also really important to remember that the application is going to take 4 to 6 weeks to process and then be approved by the state. So this is going to be crucial for you to start with. Our application department has basically broken it down into 4 simple steps. We want to make it as simple as possible for you to follow. First step would be to fill the application out to the best of your ability. Then you would submit it for us to review and correct it. Doesn't matter if you're submitting it via fax, scanning it over, or even sending us pictures. We're then going to review and correct it for you, send back any needed corrections, which you will then make on your original copy. Once it has been finalized, meaning there's no corrections left, we're going to give you instructions on how to go about mailing it to us. We're then going to get the original copy, because we need what on the original copy, Andrew?
Oh, definitely wet signatures. Black or blue ink. That's what the state wants.
Exactly. No purple, no pink, no red. We don't want to make it pretty. We want it to be specifically what the CSLB requires. We're then going to take that original copy. We're going to submit it directly to the state in person for faster processing. We're also going to get a time-stamped copy for you. Just in case the state loses any paperwork, we have that additional copy. How common is it, Andrew, for the state to lose paperwork?
It's not very common, actually, but there have been cases. And what better way than to say, hey, we got a timestamp of what was submitted, right?
Exactly. No need to worry. There are some common pitfalls. Like I said, it can be somewhat a complex and even intimidating process. The key thing to remember about the first common pitfall is that you're going to need to form a business. The state will issue the license to your business, meaning you have to choose a name for your business. The name has to match the trade you are going for. And I think it's best to provide an example to explain anything, right, Andrew?
Oh, 100%. You know I love my examples.
Absolutely. So let's go with plumbing, right? I'm getting my C36 plumbing license, but I want to name my business Miriam Concrete. How do you think that would go?
No, not going to fly. The CSLB will send that application back, ask for a name correction because you're misleading the public.
Exactly.
You're really saying you're doing concrete work when in fact you're applying for a plumbing license.
Exactly. What if somebody wants to hire me to pour some concrete? I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not licensed to do that. So the appropriate name for my business would be Miriam Plumbing. That would go through no problem. Now, the second common pitfall would be the certification of work experience. It's this form that you're seeing up on the screen. Now, it's really important to remember two things about this form. You're going to need a certifier, and the certifier is going to need to fill out some aspects. Let's go through it with you. So as you can see here, there's going to be space for about a paragraph's worth of content. This is where the certifier is going to give some examples, basically describe the work that I've been doing for the 4 years to qualify. So let's say Andrew's going to be my certifier because I'm getting my C36. Can you give us an example of what you would put on there?
Oh yes, for sure. So if I'm a certifier signing off your experience, I'm going to have to list your trade duties. So I'm going to have to let the CSLB know a little bit about your secrets, specifically what you performed, preferably the trade duties performed, not the name of the projects or anything like that, but specifically you've been doing plumbing, rough-in, the finish work, whatever is required there. But not only just indicating what work trade experience you've performed, how many years you have this experience, so put the total start time, the end time, years and months, and so on.
Exactly. And since Andrew's going to be my certifier, I know who I'm going to have sign off, but obviously you have no idea. That's why you're watching this video. So let's go through step by step on who can sign off as your certifier. So again, I'm going to refer back to the screen. On this document, we see that you can have an employer sign off. But sometimes students will tell me, hey Miriam, my employer and I are not on the best of terms. I don't want to tell him that I'm leaving. What if he lays me off? I'm not ready for that. It's very valid. You can also have a contractor sign off. In the state of California, if they have a license, or a contractor from another state if your experience is from another state. You can have a foreman or supervisor sign off, somebody that directly supervises your experience. Even a journeyman, a certified journeyman that has completed an apprenticeship. You can also have a fellow employee, meaning a coworker at any level of your company that has directly witnessed your experience. A union representative, if you're in a union, you know that applies to you. If not, you can also have a business associate. For those of you that are self-employed, business associate would typically be applicable. You can have an inspector or a professional engineer because you're bound to have worked with either of those. Now, I also want to go over a very common question that comes up during the application, and that's about the education, foreign education, and foreign experience. These can get a little complex, so I want you to stick with me while we break it down for you. The college degree, if it's about a bachelor's or a master's, can typically substitute up to 3 years of experience. For example, If you at home are applying for a general construction license and you have a bachelor's in construction management, that will typically give you up to 3 years of experience. It's important to remember that the CSLB technician has the sole discretion on how much credit to give you. They're going to use your official sealed transcripts to know how much credit to give you towards the experience. You can also use a foreign degree for this, as long as the foreign degree meets 2 things. It's translated and accredited by a business that does business specifically in the US. You can also use foreign experience towards this, as long as, again, it meets 2 conditions. First, the business has to be open. Secondly, the owner of the business has to be the one signing your certification of work experience. If you are the owner of the foreign company, this would not apply. That experience would not be valid. And with that, I would like to have Andrew go over the preparation for the exams.
All righty. If your application's been approved or submitted, it's probably time to start the study. You're really preparing for 2 exams, the law and business exam, which is the legalities, running the business side of things, and then of course the trade portion of the exam, or the trade exam itself. That could be a general building, engineering, or your specialty, whether it's electrical, plumbing, roofing, what have you. That being said, when you're a student here at Contractors Intelligence School, we typically recommend minimum 30 minutes of studying per day. Everybody's experience differs, and if you want to dedicate more time and so on, those are strategies we can discuss a little bit further. But you know what? Let's at least show you how to become a student here at Contractors Intelligence School. And Miriam, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Absolutely.
Show them what we got.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really excited to go over the course options with you guys. These are the main courses that are available for you guys to purchase and to use towards your studying, preparing for the exam. First one being the traditional home study package. This package is formulated for those of you at home that prefer to have physical material in your hand to either highlight, notate, or even keep for further reference. This is going to come with 90 days of practice exams for the law and trade. It's going to come with instructor support, so if you want to call up any of our instructors, such as Andrew, you're welcome to do so. It comes with application review because, again, it's so crucial to get your application right. And it comes with our 100% pass exam money back guarantee because we're so confident that you will pass because 98% of our students pass on the first try. It's not a marketing tactic, it's just a fact. I also want to overview the full online course with you. This is actually our most popular course, and that's because we're the only school in the entire state of California that has formulated a fully online platform for you to study whenever, wherever you are. This full online course comes with law and trade, audios, videos, practice exams, reading material, resources, instructor support, application review, and again, our 100% pass exam money back guarantee. We also have a mixture of this with the in-person or live stream classes. That's our third option. Comes with everything I just mentioned for the full online course, but it also comes with the option to do a class either in person or live stream. With that said, who better to talk on that than our instructor, Andrew?
All right, now let me take it away. So, of course, the 2 options here would be the traditional in-class. And that's when you show up in person, maybe got to drive a little bit, depends on where you're located. But when you're in the classroom, you're here with like-minded people who have no distractions. Everybody's trying to prepare for the exam. The interaction here, just like a traditional classroom, it's fantastic. But it doesn't have to be that way. And let's say you bought a 100-inch flat screen TV, you want to make some use out of that. You can also stream the class from home. That is an option. By the way, streaming is not just one way. It is interactive. So there's a chat system built in and so on where you can ask your questions, which just like you're attending a class in person, but from the comfort of your home. You can do it from a computer, you can do it from a mobile device, or if you know how to stream that to your 100-inch flat screen, that's wonderful as well. So the classes, I'm looking forward to having you guys in here. You know, definitely call us up. But wait a minute, I don't think we're done. I think we have to talk about the options for evening classes, because there are four evening classes that are available. Typically, whether it's Tuesdays or Thursdays, or whatever the situation calls for. They are primarily designed to introduce you to the course material, walk you through, hold your hand, if you will. And that's in the beginning of your licensing process. When you're submitting your application, you'll be instructed that detail. Now, let's move a little bit forward through the licensing process, meaning you've submitted your application, you've already got a response from the state, and most likely you have finished your studying using the recommended study strategies. We also have the crash course. And the crash course typically is on a weekend with 2 sessions, one for the law and business, one for the trade. And that's a wonderful one, especially if your exam is tomorrow, let's say Monday or Tuesday or what have you. Fantastic. You attend the crash course, cram the information in, and you're ready to rock and roll. Of course, we are interested in your success after all. But it's not just that. You also have to schedule your exam. So circling back to the licensing process one more time. You submitted your application to the state. About 4 weeks after that is reviewed by the CSLB or what have you, once the Contractors Board approves your application, they don't schedule your tests. You have to schedule your law and trade exam. It says here you have to schedule them separately. That is entirely based on availability. If you find a day where the law exam can be scheduled for 9 in the morning and then the trade exam either 12 o'clock or 6 p.m. or what have you, those are all options. So scheduling is done with PSI. While the CSLB, Contractor State License Board, reviews your application and then they give you approval, PSI is where you take the exam. And currently it's in California. I know they're working on other options. Don't hold your breath, but maybe, online. But no, for now it's in person. If you need a translator, that is something you're going to be marking on the application, making sure to indicate which language you're planning to have a translator in. And the CSLB sends you a letter. They send you a letter specifically for your translator to complete, and they have to approve your translator. The state puts a couple limitations. You can't bring a lawyer to the exam. You can't bring a licensed contractor. Unfortunately, you can't bring me to the exam. So the state has to approve your translator. If you need other accommodations, accessibility, or what have you, please reach out to the Contractor State License Board, CSLB, and make those accommodations or request them well in advance. That's very important. So exam scheduling, wonderful. Passing the exam, oh, that's right. You've scheduled your test, now it's time. It's time to show up a little bit early, preferably 15-30 minutes early is what we recommend. The state, I should say PSI, the testing center, they give you everything for the exam. They give you a computer, they give you a little tablet with a stylus for your scratch work. It's one of those with a button where you can click on it and everything gets erased. I think my kindergartner has one. But the law exam is 120 questions long. You're given 3.5 hours, plenty of time. It's all multiple choice, A, B, C, D. The trade exam, also 120 questions, 3.5 hours is given to you. All multiple choice. Yeah, if you finish early, even better. But imagine this. If you pass the law, the trade exam, they don't give you a license number on the spot. The only thing you find out is if you passed or failed right on the spot. A couple of the details you have to take care of. Here it says if you pass, the CSLB will give you the final steps. I'm using air quotes here. And Miriam, I'm going to pass it back to you. Why don't you tell the folks watching what are those final steps?
Definitely, Andrew. Thank you. So like Andrew said, you've passed the exam, but guess what? You still don't have a license. You need to follow a few steps in order to get to that point. First being paying your license fee. The state needs a cut of the pie as well. You need to do your life scans, your fingerprints. The state needs to know that you're not a career criminal. You will be taking on clients and being on property, right? You also need to set up a contractor's bond. And you can call the phone number that's shown above. Pro Builders, one of our friends here at Contractors Intelligence School, can definitely set you up with the bond that you need. You can also call them to assist you with your workers' comp, or even ask if you apply for one of the exemptions. You also need to complete one of the required formalities, which is the open book asbestos exam. It's done completely on your computer. You're going to pull up the page, you're going to read some material, and then you're going to answer 20 questions that basically state how to identify asbestos, the danger of asbestos, and who can properly handle asbestos. And once you've completed this, guess what? You still don't have a license. You need to wait a few weeks for the license, for the CSLB to issue your license. And once it's complete, it will be posted online and you will get it in the mail as well.
Did I hear you correctly? Did you say
Yes.
you have one more exam after passing the required exams?
Yes, it's not an exam you need to study for. Again, it's an open book exam. You will have all the information you need to know right in front of you. You can fail it as many times as you need. Take as much time as you want to be able to take it. Again, it's 20 questions.
Actually, the system won't let you proceed until you answered everything correctly. Just wanted to clarify that point.
Oh, well, I was wrong. Thank you for that, Andrew. Yes, you can take as long as you need to be able to essentially answer all the 20 questions. And again, once you've done so, you still need to wait a short period for the CSLB to issue your license.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and with that, we are done, guys. So we have an email shown on screen. If you have any additional questions, please go ahead and send them to support@contractorsiSchool.com. And we are so happy that you joined us today. And again, thank you to Andrew for joining me.
Pleasure.
And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Take care.